Good evening and good to have you with us in the 9 p.m. edition of the Urban Debate. Viewers, tonight we speak about the increasing politicization of our Raj Bhavans, or if indeed that is happening, or if it's always been a case. And we're going to have this conversation because of what's currently going on between the Maharashtra governor and the Maharashtra government, or the chief minister specifically. But we'll also talk about what's been going on, for example, in West Bengal and the confrontation there between the West Bengal governor and the chief minister, or Kerala, and the confrontation there between the governor and the chief minister. But in case you've missed it, let me tell you, Governor Koshiyari wrote a letter to the Maharashtra chief minister Uddhav Thackeray. And this letter was primarily a request to reopen temples in the state of Maharashtra as we unlock more and more. But it's what Governor Koshiyari said that's actually triggered quite a bit of a controversy. And he went on to say that you have been a strong votary of Hindutva. You have espoused your devotion for Lord Rama. You've even performed puja on Ashadi Ekadashi. And then he goes on to again use the Hindutva angle to say you have suddenly turned secular, a term that you hated while earlier you were a strong votary of Hindutva, and makes the point to reopen the temples while saying that bars have opened in this state. Drinking places essentially have opened in this state via the gods under lockdown. Obviously, as this triggered controversy, Chief Minister was quick to respond, and the Chief Minister's counter really has been to say, well, the lockdown was imposed all of a sudden and everything was shut down at that point, and we have to now reopen in phases. Can't immediately unlock just the way lockdown was sudden. Unlocking can't be like that. He also went on to say that my Hindutva doesn't really need a certificate from anybody, but I am prioritizing people's lives over everything else right now. Pawar was also quick to jump in on this controversy. He's in fact written to the Prime Minister objecting to the language that's actually being used by the governor in this letter, and he's brought it to the notice of the Prime Minister itself in a letter that he's written. Now, let me also give you some of the other examples. Jagdeep Dhankar, governor of West Bengal, who repeatedly gets into a war of words with the West Bengal chief minister, has slammed her repeatedly, including for not attending a specific Independence Day function. He also for her silence on the attack that happened on students in Jadavpur, comparing that to what she had to say when JNU was in news. And calling her out for these kind of things. This is the governor of Bengal really making such comments. We also had governor of Kerala, Arif Mohammed Khan, attacking the chief minister there on his stand against the Citizenship Amendment Act. He even sought a report from the government on decision to move Supreme Court on that, and said that I am not going to sit as a mute spectator here. Raj Bhawan, as a governor of Rajasthan, took on the chief minister there for the protest that happened outside Raj Bhawan when Chief Minister Gehlot was trying to really protect his government and his MLAs and safeguarding them. Raj Mishra said, if you can't protect the governor, what are you going to really do about the state's law and order? So there were quite a few of these examples. I just want to point out that I don't want to necessarily go down the constitutional road where the debate happens when governments are being toppled, or there is a trust vote or a government that has to be formed, and the role of a governor in that case. Those are constitutional matters. Outside of that, when there is a war of words and politicization or politics being played by both sides, is that okay? Is that happening more today than it used to happen earlier? That's the simple question that I want to ask. So let's say good evening to Clyde Crasto, spokesperson for the NCP, Sudesh Verma, spokesperson for the BJP. I have Professor Monajit Mandal, who's a TMC supporter, and senior journalists Javed Ansari and Ashutosh. Mr. Ansari, let me begin with you. Would you agree that this is happening more, or has this, in your own experience, always been such a case that Raj Bhavans are seemingly getting more political?
It's not that this is happening for the first time, but the level of partisanship, the level of politicking that you're now seeing now is unprecedented. We're seeing an increasing tendency on the part of activists or on the part of governors to push the envelope, and the clear distinction between activism and being a constitutional head is being blurred with impunity. We are seeing this in the case of Maharashtra. We see this repeatedly in the case of West Bengal, where Mr. Jagdeep Thankar seems to forget that he is no longer a member, or he has ceased for the time being to be a member of a political party, and he's now a constitutional head. So you've had Mr. Tathagat Roy, the governor of Tripura, making the kind of statements that I have at least in the 37 years that I've been journalist, never heard a governor make these kind of statements. So yes, there is this increasing tendency. This is something extremely worrisome, because under the Constitution, and the separation of powers, the governor's role is that of a constitutional head. He's more in the nature of a neutral umpire rather than a partisan one. And if those who are expected to play a neutral role take on a more political and partisan role, then I shudder. I fear for the state of democracy and for the well-being of democracy. So therefore, and this is something that the former president of India, the late Pranab Mukherjee, has in numerous governor conferences pointed to this fact, that we are constitutional heads, our role is clearly defined in the constitutional scheme of things, and we should stick to it both in letter and in spirit. I'm afraid that is not being done now.
Okay, let me bring in Clyde on this. Clyde, and as I come to you, I actually want to read because to a certain extent I do agree with Mr. Jawad Ansari to the way it's being done now does make many people uncomfortable. Here is the letter and an excerpt of that letter where Governor Koshiyari says to Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, "You've been a strong votary of Hindutva. You had publicly espoused your devotion for Lord Rama by visiting Ayodhya after taking charge as CM. You had visited Vittal Rukmini Mandir in Pandharpur. You performed the puja on Ashadi Ekadashi. I wonder if you are receiving any divine premonition to keep postponing, reopening, or you have suddenly turned secular yourselves, the term you hated." Clyde, is this a way, even if it's a letter talking about reopening temples, is this how it should be written?
But Tanvi, very simply put, it does not behave of a person in a constitutional position to write something like this, to speak in a tone and tenor like this. He is a constitutional head of the state. He has to be neutral. Our constitution also says that Article 159, Principle 1 says that he has to be neutral. Does not matter which party that he has chosen him to be the governor. And if you go by the past record of the Honorable Governor, and I would call him Honorable because he's my governor, is that even during, I'll just give an example, that during the oath-taking ceremony outside the Mantralaya, he just completely lost his control and composure when some elected representatives were taking the oath. Yes, I agree that those elected representatives who are taking oath just went a little beyond protocol, but there is a manner in which he should have corrected them, or he could have asked his OSD or somebody to correct them to go by the protocol or go by the rule. But he just stood up, got angry, and the way he spoke, it does not behave of a person in that position to speak like that. That's one example. And you see, in the last few days, he has been meeting just about everybody. People who have maligned the Mumbai city, people who have maligned the state. He just goes ahead and meets those people, whoever speaks against the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi government. The point here is very simple, is that our government is making sure that we do not take any decisions in a hurry. We are concerned about the people. That's what we are doing, and we are treading very carefully. We are taking each step carefully. And here you have our honorable governor who's towing the line of some other people. And another example I'll give you, and it's not a coincidence because it's a fact, that today the BJP was on the streets, agitating and demanding the opening of Mandir. And while they were doing that, this letter from the honorable governor was released to the media, to the press. So it's not a coincidence. It's well thought, well planned, and you are part of this whole thing. How does it work? I mean, like Mr. Ansari says, that he's dreading. Even we are dreading that. Where is this heading to? Because here is someone who's supposed to be guiding you, who's the head and taking certain neutral decisions. He's not taking any neutral decision at all. There's no neutrality coming from him from wherever. So that's the whole point. That's where we are getting to. And to write a letter
Well,
like this to
I
the Chief
wouldn't
Minister of Maharashtra is
go on
absolutely
so
wrong.
much to say that he's not taking neutral decisions, because Clyde, this isn't really about decisions, more about, you know, what he's saying and the way he's saying it. And this is just one example.
No,
Like I said,
I'm
I've
putting
now
two
given
things
examples from
together.
various states where this is happening, where the language and the conduct is increasingly seeming political than constitutional. I'm not even talking about a specific decision, but words that are said and events that are chosen. Mr. Sudesh Verma, your comments, on what is being said here.
You want me to talk about Kerala or West Bengal or Maharashtra? Please tell me, because the whole Pandora's box has been opened. So kindly let me know the focus of my presentation. What do you want me to talk about?
We can take one by one. My larger question to you is, are Raj Bhavans becoming increasingly political?
Fine. First of all, I don't agree with the concept of Mr. Ansari that they are biased and all that. And we have seen that 126 times President's rule was imposed, 88 times by the Congress, and out of that 50 times by Indira Gandhi. She dismissed governors at the wing, and the governors were just postal stamps for them. So don't preach us. Governors are appointed by the President of India, and the way Sharad Pawar ji has written letter to Prime Minister, this shows that they just want to politicize. If at all, he should have written to the President of India, isn't it? If you have any problem with the government, please listen to me. Please listen to me. I did not interrupt. Please listen to me. Whosoever is interrupting. No, please listen to me. I'm not completed. I'm not yielding. I'm not yielding. Listen to me. I've just begun. Have the patience. Have the patience. I listen to all what you say.
Let him finish.
You have to listen to me. It's a sensible debate, isn't it? I've just begun. I've just begun. Not even one third of presentation. Talking about
please,
West
I
Bengal,
don't want any overlapping here. Mr. Sudesh Verma, allow me to say this very clearly and set the rules for everybody once again. Let's not overlap here. I will give a chance to everyone. There are only 5 of you on this debate. So let's all listen to each other. Yes, Mr. Sudesh Verma must be allowed to finish his point. Go
coming to West Bengal. West Bengal thing should be seen in the context of violence that is there, the context of religious hatred that have been spread by Mamta ji. Even the High Court had to comment. Governor cannot be a silent spectator if law and order is the situation is so bad. Coming to what Mr. Arif Mohammad Khan, Governor of Kerala, said, that came in the context of CAA, a law enacted by Parliament, and when the Assembly decides, when the government decides, they did not even consult the Governor. That should be seen in that context. Governor cannot be silent spectators. Now coming to Mr. Koshiyari, you must be aware that he has the record of being a member of both the council of his, the MLAs and MLC in the state level, and also in the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. He has a vast experience. He was chief minister. So before commenting on him, please hold on. Maybe you did not understand it in the correct way. What he said, yes, Gandhi ji said that you cannot, unless you are religious, you cannot be secular. If you are secular, then you must respect religious feelings. You are opening the bars, you are opening the malls just for money. You are opening, we call it, मधुशाला खोल दो और उसके बाद जो हमारे धर्म के जगह है उसको मत खोलो. What is this nonsense? I don't understand. The same care could have been taken for opening the temples. It has been opened. Most of the states have opened. So what is so big deal about it? And Clive's argument about the governor meeting those people who wanted to meet him. Of course he will meet Kangana Ranaut. Of course he will meet Payal Ghosh. Of course he will meet all those who have to meet the governor. Because the governor, after all, is what? He acts as a shock absorber. And he has told the government something. So what is the problem? So before responding, if you are talking of Shiv Sena that you believed in Hindutva, unless you believe in Hindutva, you cannot be secular. Because Hindutva is the spirit of this country, the constitution. So what is the problem in that?
Tanvi, quick response.
All right,
Mr.
Verma, okay. Yes.
Tanvi, you owe me the response.
Yes, Clyde, go ahead. But I'm just requesting both of you to not get so agitated. Let's have a conversation.
No, I'm not getting agitated. First and foremost, I'm happy. I was just going to tell Mr. Sudesh Verma to have a glass of water, and I'm very happy that he's had a glass of water. Second,
I'll have one glass of water, no issue. But the argument must be settled through arguments, not by putting people in jail.
Now
can I speak? Isn't it?
Can I speak, Tanvi? You told me to set the rules.
Okay, all right. Yes. Clyde. Yeah.
Things. Now, please don't interrupt me. 2 things. I think today I will call Sudesh Verma ji the bravest the bravest BJP spokesperson that I've ever come across. Why would I say that? Because two things he said. Now he said you opened up bars first and then you opened up mandirs. Okay. Now my question is, and I'll give you the answer also. I'll also answer the question. He's saying the bars were opened first, right? Who opened the bars first in the country? It was the central government that gave the permission to
Arvind
open bars first.
Kejriwal opened the bar first in Delhi. Everybody knows about that, and why he opened. Everybody knows that also.
Now please moderate this debate, Tanvi. Please moderate this debate, Tanvi. So
You asked the
he is a
question,
brave.
so I answered. You go on.
Yes, Mr. Sudesh Verma. Mr. Sudesh Verma, let him finish. Let him finish. Yes.
Why I call him the bravest BJP spokesperson? Because he's questioning the Honorable Home Minister decision to open the bars before the mandir. So he's a brave BJP spokesman. Secondly, why I call him a brave BJP spokesman?
Also about temple, come on.
He's agreeing that the BJP is doing wrong because he gave examples about past history governors being toys in the hands of other political leaders. Two wrongs do not make a right. So he's accepting that the governors is using this political master. So today I personally declare, I mean I'm nobody to say this, but on my personal level, I compliment Mr. Sudesh Verma. He's the bravest BJP spokesperson because he has said that the BJP is doing wrong. He's also questioned the Home Minister on opening the bars first.
Come on. I must answer this, Tanvi. If you allow me, I'd like to answer this. I don't like this left-handed compliment. I know
we
what
are
I'm
getting
saying,
derailed
Tanvi.
from the main debate.
Tanvi,
Gentlemen, we are
Tanvi,
derailing from the main debate.
Tanvi, I've seen enough of
Yes,
this
you can
left-handed
answer.
compliment.
My
I don't
request
need
to
any
you, keep it
compliments from
short
you.
so we can
I'm
come back to
saying
the
that
main
why
point.
did you open the bars and the balls and then you are not opening the temples? Temples have been open in most parts of the country. What is the reason? Tell me that. The
Can I answer that?
came for everything, isn't it? The central directive
Fair
came
enough.
for the bar
But
also.
may
So the bar
I
also
just
for
want
the
to come
temples
in here.
also.
I
Why
just
did
now
not do
want
that?
to come in here. 1 minute. Now, please, my turn. Let me also speak a little. Let me just clarify one thing.
Sure.
Tonight's debate, irrespective of what political representatives may want, tonight's debate is not whether the temple should reopen, the mosque should reopen, the church should reopen in a state where the bars have reopened. Tonight's debate is about the increasing political involvement or whether or not it's happening from our governors across the country, which is why I raise this. The point of the debate is not if the governor is asking the chief minister what are his plans of reopening places of worship. Point of the debate is that a sitting governor who holds a constitutional post, Ashutosh, is actually talking about secularism, inciting or using Hindutva and law drama, and then making this point, provoking the chief minister on his Hindutva versus secular ideology. Point is what happens in West Bengal, on Kerala and several other states of our countries is how it's done, not the issue that's being raised, the way it's being done. Ashutosh?
Tanvi, I think Bhagat Singh Koshiyari will go in the constitutional history of India as the first governor into the annals of the Indian history who has declared that he's not secular. First of all, he has made it very clear. Secondly, he has also indirectly declared to the whole world, and Mr. Prime Minister should take a note of it, that he is not the governor of the entire Maharashtra. He represents only Hindus in Maharashtra, because he is not talking about mosques, he's not talking about Christians, he's not talking about synagogues, he's talking about only and only temples. So I think those who are sitting in Delhi should think about it. Whether this man fits to be the governor is an important question. First of all, but why I'm saying so, I'm very, very serious about it, because every constitutional authority in this country has to believe into the Constitution of India, has to swear by the Constitution of India. An Indian Constitution and the swearing in is done in the name of Constitution. What does it mean? This Constitution is secular. Even the Mr. Prime Minister Modi cannot say that he does not believe in secularism. He cannot say that he's not secular. He cannot say, Rahul Gandhi, that you have suddenly become a secular. So if secularism has become such an abuse, such a bitter word for Mr. Koshiyari, then he should immediately, I'll advise him to immediately resign from the post of governorship and to join RSS again and serve over there, because RSS does not believe in secularism. The point number 2, which I want to make it very clear. First of all, the governors in Indian politics has always been political. Where is the difference? To hear the Jagdeep Dhankar talking about it, interfering into the administration. You will hear Arif Muhammad Khan. You will hear Mr. Bhagat Singh Koshiyari. But did you hear?
Are we going to listen to his speech? Or is it a debate, Tanvi? Will you give me a chance to rebut what he's saying?
Please shut up. Sudesh Verma, will you please shut up? I did not interfere.
Okay. Wait. 1 minute, gentlemen. Mr. Sudesh Verma.
It's not a speech, sorry.
I will give you a chance, Mr. Sudesh Verma. I will give you a chance. Let him finish. Yeah.
So, did you hear Mr. Anandiben Patel? She's also a governor. So much thing happened in Uttar Pradesh in Hathras. The High Court has taken note of, but governor's office is quiet because Anandiben Patel is a governor in a state which is ruled by BJP. So it is a headed agenda of the BJP governors to destabilize opposition government. That is why you will not hear governor talking about all kinds of things in Haryana, in Himachal Pradesh, in Uttarakhand, in UP, in Madhya Pradesh, in other states also. But these governors, Jagdeep Dhankar, will have all kinds of problems. In Puducherry, the Kiran Bedi will have all kinds of the problem. Why this is happening? Because they are an agent of destabilizing the opposition government. That is what they are doing it. But that's also has been done by the Congress governors when they were when the Congress party was there in the government. You heard of Sifta Hassan Raji and Ramesh Bhandari, and all kinds of people were there. So my worry is that Mr. Bhagat Singh Koshiyari has written a new chapter in Indian Constitution where he has declared himself that he only belongs to Hindus, does not belong to as a governor to Muslim, Christians, Parsis and others, and he doesn't believe in Indian Constitution. That is why he finds the word secularism as a condescending word, and he's in that tone he's talking to Uddhav Thackeray.
Okay.
Can I respond?
Okay. So before I go to Professor Mandal, yes, Mr. Sudesh Verma, respond and
Tanvi,
yes.
Most of the things what Ashutosh has said is all rant, and he can give a twist. But before the word secularism was added to the constitution by Srimati Indira Gandhi, the country was still a secular country. Hindutva is the spirit of secularism. You can have problems with Hindutva. But tell me, Ram Rajya concept was given by Mahatma Gandhi. If you talk of Ram Raj, who is saying that open only Hindus? If you are talking of Hindutva and reminding Uddhav Thackeray, it means that you should respect places of religious worship and their right to be open. Their right to have precautions. What is the problem? People have gone and appealed to the governor of Maharashtra, and he has just told it in his own words. So where is the problem? Where is communalism? Because if you see through the spectacle of secularism,
you will
see everything is communal.
No, but Mr. Sudesh Verma.
You have a debate spectacle. You will find.
But Mr. Sudesh Verma, I understand.
If we want to dismiss or use the governance to
understand, Mr. Sudesh Verma.
It won't take much time. There is law and order problem everywhere. But we are constitutional people. We'll dethrone them politically, but not by misusing any authority. Why you are appealing to Prime Minister Ashutosh? You should appeal to the President of India, isn't it? You are a constitutional person if you believe in Constitution, because you have an ulterior motive.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, but Mr. Sudesh Verma, today in the Constitution, secularism is very much part of our constitutional values today. And somebody, irrespective of who it is, holding the... doesn't matter what was before it. What is the Constitution saying today? Secularism is very much part of our constitutional values. For a governor to take secular Hindutva jibes at a sitting chief minister...
And he goes on to say that the word that you hated.
Tanvi...
No.
Tanvi,
I don't care about what happened 100 years ago, Mr. Sudesh Verma, or what happened in Indira emergency time. I don't think emergency is a good example to give. I don't think emergency is a good example to compare, Mr. Sudesh Verma. Why do you keep going back to emergency? That's not a great time for any of us in our lifetime, in our country. Why compare it to that?
Secularism, what was added? You know about it, how Srimati Gandhi did it, socialist and secularism words were added. The country
So
was
if you
secularized
refuse to
before that.
acknowledge secularism as part of a constitutional value, remove it.
Secularism is the spirit of India. We don't need a word.
Do you respect secularism as our constitutional value today or not?
All the religions came here
Do
and
you
survived.
respect, follow and acknowledge secularism as part of our constitutional value today or not, Mr.
Would not have
Sudesh
survived
Verma?
in this country. This is what I'm saying.
Mr. Sudesh Verma, I'm so sorry, but if you're going to yell so much, I am struggling to understand you. I'm very calmly asking you, if you have such problems with the word secularism, remove it from our constitution. Okay, you can do it calmly, sir. We very politely, calmly, I always listen to you. I love it when you are on my debates because you are one calm, rational spokesperson.
I'm talking rationally.
Yes, now tell me, what is the problem of having secularism or the word secular in our constitution?
Because the country was secular, all the religions that came here survived. Had we been communal like other countries, other religions would not have survived. So we were secular, we are secular. What is the problem?
So does it behove a man who holds a constitutional post? Does it hold a man who holds a constitutional post to go into secularism and Hindutva, where the very simple request that he is making is to say open the places of worship? Why is that required if not for political purposes?
Because he's reminding Uddhav Thackeray ji, who used to be the champion of Hindutva. If you believe in Hindutva, you would be secular. Hindutva to me is the most secular concept. It cannot be described as communal. I'm ready to debate with Ashutosh at length. Please talk on secularism. I'm ready to debate.
Can I respond?
Okay, Clyde, 30 seconds to you and then Manojit Mandal needs to come in. Yes.
Yes,
Ashutosh wanted to make a point. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Tanvi, I think Sudesh Verma had not responded to my fundamental question. The fundamental question is, he's a governor. Why is only advocating that the Hindu temple should be open? He should have said all the religious places should be open. That's okay. Nobody should have any problem. But here is a governor who is saying opened only temples. What does it mean? Is it secularism? No, it's not secularism. And second point which I want to make, this country was a secular country. This country is a secular country irrespective of RSS. Because RSS never believed.
You have problems with RSS. I can't tell you.
RSS and the BJP is a communal force. It's a communal force
in this country that thinks about strengthening the country. I'm not going to buy your theory.
Have some civility. Sudesh Verma, we belong to JNU.
You are going to abuse me and you will say that have civility. Have I abused you? Have I spoken about your past? So please be civil to us also. Don't abuse the ideology I belong to. This is wrong. Otherwise I will also attack you.
JNU taught us to be civil.
This is the most patriotic organization.
JNU taught us to be civil. Don't jump. Don't.
Okay. All right, gentlemen.
No, Tanvi.
All right, gentlemen. Let me bring in Professor Mandal.
This has gone wrong. Where's the BJP?
I tell you.
Sudesh Verma, I don't know why you're so agitated today on my show. This is not your style.
Statements like this is what I'm saying.
Okay. Let him.
This country was secular.
All right. Yes, Ashutosh.
Tanvi. Yes, can I come in?
Okay, Professor Mandal hasn't spoken yet. Manojit Mandal, do you believe that there is increasing political interference or political, stand being taken by the governors who essentially hold a constitutional post, including?
No, you see the governors. The constitution itself is highly political, and the word secularism or the idea of India as a secular is merely an idea. We all know. I mean, this has never been the case that we follow the letter and the spirit of each and every word that the preamble of the Constitution actually propagates. We don't follow this since independence, and even I would say before independence. I'm sorry to say this. I mean, you take the great example of what happened with Mahatma Gandhi and how he attributed Bihar earthquake to the sins of the people of Bihar because they were committing atrocities on the horizons, and how Tagore had to admonish Gandhi for saying what he said so in 1930. But nonetheless, they had hugely positive and constructive debate till the end of their life. Tagore and Gandhi is a fabulous debate. I mean, the people who talk about Gandhi is being secular and all, you can understand all this from the debate that Tagore had with Mahatma Gandhi. So India, in a sense, to a large extent, why this Hindutva, quote unquote Hindutva forces are now plunging into the scenes is also because of overdoing of the other spectrum, that is the people who call themselves secular. You have to keep this in mind also. Now, what these governors are doing, especially in the last 4 or 5 years, that whole idea of Hindutva is now actually laid bare. Now, there is no, in a sense, at least in the previous years, there was some kind of a veil of civility. Now, what these governors are doing, especially as my friend Ashutosh was trying to point out, in the opposition rule state, that particular veil of civility is completely lifted. I mean, what this governor is doing in Maharashtra, why are you surprised? Remember what he did during the formation of government a year ago in Maharashtra. Remember the role of the president in forming the government in Maharashtra. Why are you forgetting all these things? So this is BJP's agenda. Only this governor is carrying forward. Yes, without any veil of civility one can possibly see, the veil of civility which used to exist earlier. They will do it till their purpose is served. I would say my
Professor
apprehension
Mandal,
as a professor and
it's
academic.
not just the
Let me complete
BJP.
this one.
But
Just
even
one
but
single
when it
sentence. I
comes to
would say my
Mamata Banerjee, the
apprehension.
story was same even during UPA's era. Even in 2013, the governor who was there said that this is Mamta's Gundagiri and Gundaism in West Bengal. So can we blame it on the individual or the party?
My only apprehension is that let us not have this premonition which we are having now, that India will be a right-wing China. The way China is ruled by the president through the governors, they are also not elected governors. The 25 provincial governments in China are ruled by one single person sitting in the center, the federal structure of China. Let us not, in a sense, go into that direction. And the opposition must play a constructive role in not getting into right-wing China mode in India. Gradually, we are probably moving towards that, a kind of elected autocracy which will be there. I mean, you will have elections, you will have semblance of democracy, but the real fruits of democracy you may not find. I think governors are only playing that agenda, the role, that role which is clearly given by the party in the center, especially, controlled by 1 or 2 persons in the center. That's as simple as that.
Okay, let me take a step back and turn it around. And Mr. Javed Ansari, maybe you can come in here. Let's just revisit the difference between somebody who holds a constitutional post and somebody who holds a political post. For example, it may be okay for political party chiefs and various leaders to attack each other, party chiefs to even question the government and make political comments. But where do you draw the line and say, no, when you're holding a constitutional post, these are not things that you should be saying?
Look, Tanvi, in the constitutional scheme of things and under the constitutional scheme of things, the separation of powers are absolutely clear. There is no if and but there. And it is expected of the governor, it is expected of the President of India and of the governor. These are all constitutional posts that you will refrain from indulging. You will remain above politics. You will be the guiding force and you will be the kind of neutral umpire rather than becoming a party to any kind of political dispute. And I said this in my opening statement, I would say it again. This is not the first time it is happening. We know of Mr. Ramesh Bhandari. We know of Mr. Ramlal. We know of several other governors under previous Congress, UPA, National Front governments, and also under the NDA government, and now again NDA 1 and NDA 2. When the office of the governor is being used and misused and abused, used for political ends, increasingly more and more political activists are being appointed to these positions. And once you do that, you are laying yourself open to this kind of misuse. But in the long run, again, this whole edifice, this constitutional scheme of things is all this just chips away from that big structure every day, and it takes away from the dignity and the plurality and the scheme of things. And today it's the BJP in power. The governors are dancing to their tune. Who knows? Tomorrow, no government lasts forever. There will be at some point of time a new government. Then the governors will do the same thing. But will they be right? Certainly not. Just because it happened earlier and therefore it should happen now, and because it is happening now, therefore it logically follows that in the future, in times to come, governors should play a partisan role? Certainly not.
Okay, so how do we ensure that, Ashutosh, should there be a relook on who and how the governors get appointed more? Increasingly, we are seeing these are, former politicians.
Tanvi, let's go back to the Constituent Assembly. When the debate was happening that should there be governor or should there not be governor, I think one of the longest debate happened was about the governor, about the role of the governor, and it was discussed and it was argued that the office of governor can become another power center in the state itself, and the conflict will generate. Then it was thought that since the chief minister will be an elected chief minister, so he should run the administration, and the governor office should not be directly appointed or should be elected, but should be a selected one. Why this was a selected one? Because they didn't want a governor to be politically active, administratively active, and as an active governor. He should just be there as an agent of the center so that he can keep an eye at the Mac. Nominally, he is a rubber stamp. Now the issue is, in my opinion, whosoever is government at the center, he will appoint or she will appoint the governor at their own pace. In my opinion, the post of governor should be abolished and the chief minister should run the administration, good or bad, because he or she has to face electorate after every 5 years. If he or she is not doing good job, will be removed. If doing a good job, then he or she will continue. There is no point having a governor over there sitting on the head of chief ministership. The office of governorship should be abolished.
Okay, Mr. Sudesh Verma, do you want to come in on this? And now this is party agnostic or time agnostic, but a genuine question on the post of the governor.
I would not like to comment on what Ashutosh said because it's his personal view and it takes a lot of constitutional process to do that. We don't agree with that. I'll come to Monojit Mandal's statement, what he said. He used the Western concept to describe us as right wing. And you have a problem with right wing, so you want the left wing to come. This is how the Western concept would be. No, but we are not right wing or left wing. We are talking of nationalist forces, and all those who are nationalists, they will finally come down to our umbrella. You have seen how Khushbuji walked over to our because he finally believed in our ideology.
Hitler that was also nationalist.
So all these people will come. All these people will come. Don't be surprised if tomorrow Ashutosh also comes because he may have a change of mind. You never know because change of mind can happen any time. And you see what Javedji said, it's not correct to say because nobody has used or misused the authority. No government has been dismissed. It's a view and he's a scholar, Mr. Koshiyari, if he has said something, that should be seen in the context. And if you don't agree, you please ask him. I'm telling you the concept is what I'm describing. About Mr. Dhankar, he had a problem because Mamta ji did not go to attend an official function that was customary. He said in that context, the High Court has commented on Mamtaji's policy to divide people on the basis of religion. So governor can't be just rubber stamp. He's after all a nominee of the central government. Federalism exists through his office also. So he will speak. He will give his view. He'll give report to center. So you want this office to be abolished because you want complete anarchy in this country. You have a problem with federalism.
Can I comment, Tanvi? I need to answer.
Can I
okay, Clyde, do you want to? Clyde, do you want to comment on it?
No, I need to answer. I need to answer my good friend, Mr. Verma.
Can I comment?
Can I comment?
Okay. Yes.
Tanvi,
Professor Mandal can answer, and then Clyde can come in. Yeah.
Yes. Sudesh ji, I mean, whether nationalist force will come into BJP fold or not. I think let me give you your own example. You had been a tremendous journalist and look what right-wing indoctrination has done to you. You are shouting like anything. Jokes apart, I am not referring to the other great journalist who used to be a good journalist and Maybe my dear friend Ashutosh's colleague 2 decades back. I'm not referring to that person at all. But having said that, if you talk about religious division and all these things, and what are you doing for the last 3-4 years, Mr. Verma? If you find that there is no law and order in Bengal, nothing is going right. What are you waiting for? You first go for 355 and then go for 356. You'll know you won't do this because you don't have the information. You can't do this because you are only playing politics because there are elections, in 2021. That's the simple reason. You are trying to create this narrative for the last 3 years when there is no such issue at all. And to answer my good friend Mr. Ashutosh, no question of abolishing of the post of governor. We had a fantastic governor in Mr. Gopal Krishna Gandhi. Everyone knows it, what kind of a person he was. It depends on the person concerned, Mr. Ashutosh. It depends on who you are appointing as the governor, the credibility of that person concerned. If you appoint these kind of political quote-unquote stooges, I'm sorry for the language that I'm using, this will happen. This will happen. You appoint the good scholars, you appoint some good people, persons, even the political persons with this kind of credibility, the kind of credibility that Gopal Krishna Gandhi had. He's such a fantastic, governor. He'll be remembered forever what he did with during the left front regime. Rightly reacting to the brutality of the left front government towards the later part of their rule. We have to keep this in mind because the governor, the post of the governor,
Right.
office of the governor must be there to
Okay.
some of the other the pull the punches if the government is not doing something very, very right.
Tanvi?
Tanvi?
Okay, all right. Clyde, I wanted you to respond to what Mr. Sudesh Verma said, that this is a central government's appointee and in the interest of balancing and protecting federalism,
Yes.
you can't really do away with this. They're there for a reason and they're doing their job.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree with you. They're there for a reason. Just before that, I want to say one thing on a lighter note. It is the first time I've seen Mr. Sudesh Verma so agitated. I mean, he's always very calm. I don't know what happened.
Agitated. You are 4 versus
Yeah,
1. Kindly think about that.
relax.
You are 4 around
Okay.
1.
Okay,
That's
relax.
That's far right indoctrination to a good journalist.
Yeah, okay, then valid point
Why
there.
you are after me, bro?
Mr. Sudesh Verma is actually having to respond to all of you others.
Yes.
Okay. So let's
Okay, yeah,
just
Clyde.
calm down. Let's just calm down. See, my thing now. Hear me out. My thing is very clear. I'm referring to a particular line in that letter that the governor has written. He goes on to actually accuse the honorable chief minister. He says that that you suddenly turned secular, a term that you hated. I mean, that is something that does not behove well of someone in that position to write something like that, because he's accusing the chief minister, he's casting aspersions on his kind of mindset. This is not what is called for. Secondly, what I would like to tell you is that yes, in the past we've had everybody's spoken about how the governors have been this, that, whatever. But the governor's position is a constitutional position, and the governors in the present and in the future need to uphold that constitutional position and set an example. They are there to be in a neutral position, and I think from now on, whatever we talk about past, the BJP can suddenly use examples of the past. I think it's not right. The government needs to uphold his position, present and the future, and make sure you don't repeat something like this. I mean, this is uncalled for, and I think I will repeat it again. What the Honorable Governor of Maharashtra, the letter that he has written, it does not behove his position, and I think he should refrain from doing this in the future.
Something I must respond.
Okay, Mr. Sudesh Verma, last word to you before we wrap this up.
You see,
Tanvi,
it's okay.
That's a good smile. That's a good smile from my dear friend, Mr. Verma.
The President of India under this government has not crossed the line ever. No government has been dismissed, Tanvi. So you cannot say that, they're doing the bidding of some political party. Not at all. Sending a letter to the Chief Minister in the context of the representations he gets is not wrong. And you must understand, don't have a problem with Hindutva. Hindutva is the spirit of this country. Please don't denigrate it. You cannot be secular unless you believe in the philosophy of Hindutva. We can debate on it. You have a problem. I don't have any problem. I see governor's context in the right context in which he has spoken. Because Mr. Uddhav Thackeray has been a champion of Hindutva. So why will you use different routes for opening temples and opening madhusalas? And when we talk of temples, it includes places of religious worship of others also. Like High Court of, Maharashtra has said that for Jains they have allowed they allowed for certain days. It means that the court is also in that favor. And we are not saying that violates the norm. That cannot be you're opening the malls, you're opening cinema halls, everything. Restaurants, but for temples you have a different, temples also, lakhs of people are dependent on that. And in this crisis of corona, there is a mental problem also.
Okay.
When people remember God, when there is a crisis. So they need their God, give them their God.
Okay. No, I think there is absolutely no problem even in a sitting governor asking on what the policy is about places of worship, as long as they are about all places of worship and not just of a certain religion. But there is a problem when it is said or communicated with words like Hindutva and secularism, because honestly it shouldn't have anything to do with that. Uddhav Thackeray has responded to the Hindutva comment by saying, I don't need a certificate from anybody really on it. The conversation shouldn't be in such terms between a sitting governor and a sitting chief minister. That's all we're saying. Let's also keep in mind any unlocking decisions for the state of Maharashtra have to be taken keeping in mind the number of cases here. It's still on top of the list as far as number of cases is concerned. The Niti Aayog itself has now come out with a warning to say, well, with the onset of winters, we have to be extra careful. With the arrival of festival season, we have to be extra careful such that these festivals don't become super spreaders. And any which ways, during cold season, influenza kind of viruses, the coronavirus kind of infections do become aggravated. So we have to be on our toes. That being set aside, maybe we do have to relook at the conduct of certain of our governors. Your decision making when it comes to constitutional choices isn't what we're talking about, but the comments you make outside of it in the political realm. Why make those comments? Leave them to the politicians, to the political party chiefs, to their leaders to make such comments. Doesn't behove the post of a governor. That's all I'm saying. Thank you so much to our panelists for joining us on this conversation.